Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year! We're excited to kick off our 2026 webinars with today's topic, where we will be introducing the new bid tracking feature for Construction Online. If you're joining us live, welcome. And if you're watching back the recording, we're glad you're here. Bid tracking is one of those features we don't want anyone to miss out on. I'm Ivy Cole, a technical writer here at UDA Technologies, and I'm joined today by my colleague, Carly Orlando, a senior success coordinator on our customer success team. Hello, everyone. If this is your first time with us, Construction Online is the go-to construction management platform for construction professionals around the world. Users rely on Construction Online to keep their projects organized, coordinate across roles, and make sure the work is moving forward. It's designed specifically for how construction really works. We understand that projects are complicated. Timelines shift and decisions involve a lot of people and moving parts. And the bidding process is one of the many places complexity shows up. Carly, I know you've already demoed it for some of your success clients. They've shared that their bid information rarely lives in one place. It's spread across emails, spreadsheets, and shared drives. We design bid tracking knowing that clarity is needed to make confident decisions. Do you want to share a little more about the feature and how it's working to support those clients?
Yeah, Ivy, thank you so much. So, bid tracking is our new full-featured bid management platform for Construction Online for creating, comparing, awarding, and managing construction bids and tenders. So, with bid tracking in Construction Online, you're going to be able to cut down on all of those extra labor hours spent struggling to read and compare bids. You mentioned that I've already demoed this for a couple of clients, and that's true. And a really common pain point is that previous workflows were not as a time efficient and were really kind of difficult to make sure that you're actually able to compare those bids. Subs may often take the same scope and then put it into their own format where you actually have to go back and interpret what they are trying to quote. Alternatively, they may go in and provide different numbering structures or PDF versus Excel, and it can get really complicated trying to compare all of that data, let alone house it in one space. Even if you're using something like Google Drive, which a lot of my clients were using previously, you still have to open up each individual document, convert that over to a spreadsheet or whatever your bid managing platform was, and it just gets a little overwhelming. So, Construction Online is designed to make sure that everything is laid out clearly so that you can spot exclusions early, understand the pricing that your subs are offering you faster, and work without second guessing your bidding decisions.
Yeah, and what makes it especially powerful is that it's part of Construction Online's larger financial toolkit. It connects with your project's estimates and change orders. Bids are based on actual project scope. There's no need to re-enter data or rebuild information. We'll go into this a little later on, but also once a bid is awarded, teams can also use bid tracking to generate a purchase order directly from that bid, keeping everything aligned as the project moves forward. By the end of this webinar, our goal is for you all to understand the benefits that bid tracking brings to you and your team, allowing you to make award decisions faster and with confidence. We want you to see how you can connect your bidding workflows with other powerful financial features within the platform, step through and become comfortable with the entire bid management sequence, and become aware of best practices. Now that we've covered the big picture introduction to bid tracking, how about we jump into how to actually create a bid package?
Yeah, Ivy. So when we're thinking about construction online bid packages, we can create them really easily through our bid tracking system. So as you guys can see here, I am actually already in one of my projects. It's a training project that we use kind of for training videos or for training actual clients. So I'm using some of the bid packages that I have created over time as sample content. So when we're going in to create a bid package, it's pretty simple. You can just go in and create one from scratch, and then we can fill out the details in the little blade that will appear on the side. So this first tab is going to be all about the general details for that bid package. What's the related project or opportunity? What's the bid package number? We can name that bid package title, and we can add our primary bidding contact. Now, the primary bidding contact is the person at our company who is going to be primarily responsible for filling out those bids. So, super important to put your primary bidding contact as whoever you want to be the person who's going back in and comparing these bids. We can also, on this first page, fill out information like our important dates. So things like release dates for bid documents, dates of any site visits that are going to be organized, deadlines for RFIs or addendums, as well as the anticipated award date. Now, none of these dates right here or these fields are actually required. However, they can be really beneficial in making it easier for your subcontractors to know what's going on and help them prioritize the bids that they are submitting, making the whole process smoother for everyone involved. What is required, however, is the bid submission deadline. So, this is the last day that your subcontractors will be able to go in and actually fill out a bid in Construction Online. So, it'll be the last time that they are or the last time that they will be allowed to submit that bid. After that, typically is when you would award. By default, we do not allow bids to be awarded prior to the bid submission deadline. That generally is going to be the best practice because up until that bid submission deadline, they can always go back and edit their bid sheet or change the pricing or anything. So just to make sure that everyone is on the same page, we have this toggled. You do have the flexibility there to turn that off, but just something to keep in mind as you're going through and creating your bid package. You'll also be able to go in and submit your scope of work and your bidding instructions, as well as the bid package invitation information. So this is going to show is the from in the body of the bid invitation emails that you're going to send out as part of these bid packages. So if you have a separate bidding department, you're going to want to make sure that contact information lines up with that bidding department. Finally, on this first page, you're also able to add things like your labor affiliation. Now, for ease of use, I'm actually going to go in and I'm going to show you one of the bids that we have already created, the bid packages. So I'm going to go to this finishes package and click on the details. You can see what a fully filled out one would look like. In this case, I already have all my bid package numbers and titles, dates, scope of work, and instructions filled out, as well as all of my additional details. Once we get all that basic information in, we can flip over and do our files. So our files are going to go ahead and allow us, if we have any files that are already uploaded to the all files section of that project, I'm actually able to go ahead and choose to include those in that bid package to make sure that they are able to see all of those files already uploaded.
Yeah, Carly, and I definitely think we should know that when new documents are added to a previously shared folder in a bid package, the folder will automatically update so that invited bidders can see the most recent and up-to-date information.
Yeah, that's a great point, Ivy. So by sharing these documents, just like you said, that if you upload anything new later to the specifications or the subcontractors folders that you're seeing here in my account, then they would be able to get an automatic real-time update when they are actually looking at that bid package on their end. So as you're getting new updated information, you're able to go ahead and provide that, and it keeps everybody on the same page. A common question that I get asked during the demos is there a way to drill into those folders? So this is my basic folder layout. There absolutely is. If you only want to share a certain subfolder, you can easily open that up by clicking on this three dot menu and opening, and then you can choose to just share specific subfolders instead if you're not wanting to give them access to everything. That's a really common thing that I see with these bid packages and something that can be really beneficial. Additionally, when it comes to plans, if you have those plans already uploaded to Planroom, you can go in and choose which Redline Planroom sheets are going to be made available to those bidders so that they can review those on their end as they're filling out that bid sheet. So if they need to do any takeoffs or they need to do any sort of comparison or specification looking up, you will already be able to share all of that information. That can kind of reduce that back to back or back and forth that you sometimes get when creating tender packages. And next up, bid sheets. So bid sheets define what line items will be available for bidding. Ivy, I know that you've written a lot of the knowledge base articles that we are actually going to be publishing for bid tracking.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the difference between bid packages and bid sheets, because I know that's been a common question you've received on the knowledge base side.
Yeah, of course. So to break it down, a bid package is how teams define and send the work out. It pulls together those fields that you've mentioned, Carly, of project scope, instructions, documents, and plans. You can think of it as the container that sets expectations before pricing comes into play. Now, a bid sheet is where pricing lives, where subcontractors and vendors enter their numbers, and it's what your team compares. It standardizes how pricing is submitted. It's easy to remember as bid packages organize the request, while bid sheets organize the response.
Yeah, and an important point that I want to build off of that, Ivy, is that right now I have my bid packages broken out in this project by their general scope. So, like my mechanical and specialties, my concrete and lumber, finishes, landscaping, and site work. That's typically what I'm seeing with the people who are utilizing the bid packages feature. They're actually going in and breaking it out that way. However, if there's an alternative way that you would prefer to break out those bid packages, as long as the bid sheets all share somewhat of a similar scope, it's going to be a good idea to go ahead and organize it whichever way you feel most comfortable with. As you can see here, I actually have a few bid sheets already built out in this specific job. So I have an interior finishes side and an exterior finishes side. To go in and add a new bid sheet, all I'm going to do is click on this. I can then submit my general details. In this case, I'm going to do exterior doors and windows, and then I can choose my creation method. So once I've gone in and I've actually chosen my general details, uploaded any additional scope of work, I'm able to go in and choose how I want to create that bid sheet. So I can either create it from scratch, create it from the project estimate, or create it from a change order. Most of the time, you're going to create it from a project estimate because that's going to allow you to select the categories, subcategories, and items that already exist in your estimate structure. And then once we hit next step, super simple. All I have to do is go in. I just scroll to whichever items I want to include. And then I'm just going to be able to click on those really quickly. I can either choose my category, individual subcategories, or items, but then I'm going to be able to choose the bid format. Now, the bid format is what you want your subcontractors to put that monetary value in as. So, for example, you can do it as a lump sum amount, you can have them provide you a unit price and quantity, or whether something is included, excluded. Once you've gone through and set up how you want your bid sheet formatted, you can simply hit save, and that's going to add it to that bid sheet list. So, once we got that, Ivy, do you want to go ahead and talk about setting up and sending out invitations to bid?
Yeah, of course. So you've got your bid sheets set up and you're ready to add bidders. Adding inviting bid recipients is straightforward and flexible. You can click on the green Add New Bid Recipient button to select which subcontractors and vendors you would like to invite to specific bid sheets. Contacts that populate are from your Construction Online contacts list. Adding recipients to the specific sheet ensures that each bidder only sees what's relevant to them. It keeps responses clean and focused. If plans change, which Carly they often do, you can easily add new bidders, remove others by right-clicking on the desired contact, and manage their invitation status in that far left column. So Carly, if you'll go ahead and click on the blue Save button, we'll go ahead and create that bid package to send out any queued invitations to bid.
Yeah, Ivy, and I'm going to go ahead and pull up how that bid invitation will actually be sent. So, what your subcontractors on their side are going to see, I'm going to drag this over. So, bear with me, everyone, just a second. So, if we're looking at what the subcontractor is going to see, when they get that bid invitation, they are going to receive an email that says invitation to bid along with that job name. So, right here, it's going to have the job name. They're going to be able to see the from. So this is that contact information that we filled out on that details section. The to, this is going to be the name of the subcontractor and any company info, as well as the general job information. You have been invited to bid on the following project. From here, they will also be able to access that scope of work and any bidding instructions. What they will need to do on their end is they'll first need to choose their bidding intention. So in this situation, I can select will bid. This is going to pull up the portal that they will use to fill out those bids. An important thing to keep in mind is they do not have to be listed as a TeamLink user in order to go ahead and access that bid sheet. As long as they are a contact in Construction Online and they have actually been added to that bidding list, there will not need to sign in at this point to access that bid sheet. So all they will have to do is it's going to walk them through how to submit their bid, and they're going to choose their bidding intention. In this case, we're going to select will bid. Once we've got that in, it will go ahead and allow us to scroll down. We're going to be able to see our general information, that scope of work and bidding instructions again, as well as the files where we can go in and download the individual files. We can see those individual sheet numbers and sheet plans. And then we can actually go in and fill out that bid sheet. A really important thing that I want to note here, Ivy, and something that my clients that I have shown this to have really loved is that this is going to force them to use whatever your cost code structure is. Really common point of feedback that we got kind of while we were thinking about the bid package feature and just generally since we've received it is that previous workflows, sometimes you would have people, even if you filled out a bill request for quote and sent it to them, they would put it in their own formatting using their own naming structure and their own cost codes, which could make it a little difficult to interpret how those bids actually needed to be compared. Because at that point, you're having to compare one subcontractor's format to another, and there's just no consistency. So this is going to require them to use that formatting. When they're ready, they can go in and they can actually select enter bid values. At this point, they are going to be able to go out and fill what those monetary responses are going to be. I'm just going to type in some numbers here just so we can go ahead and see what this is going to look like when we're submitted.
And Carly, I think we should also mention that if you're not ready to enter all of your values, you can always you can set your intention and then save it as a draft for later.
Yes, absolutely. So once we get all of this in, or even before that point, we can include our inclusions, exclusions, and attachments. When we hit save changes, this is actually not going to go in and submit that bid until we select the submit bid button. So at any point, if your subcontractors are trying to fill out information or we're trying to keep track of what's being submitted and we're just not quite ready to provide pricing, we can actually save that when they go back to that email and re-access that bid. They will then have the option to go back in, edit any of those changes, re-download, and once you are finally ready, they will go ahead and hit submit bid. At that point, they will get a notification that that is going to confirm their bid submission. So right here, we can see I'm going to go ahead and hit submit, and then it will tell them you submitted a bid on 1/28, 2026.
Yeah, and so it looks like even though we've confirmed and submitted the bid, we can still go back and edit.
Correct. So if we want to, we can go back and edit. That is why we typically recommend locking it down so you're not accidentally awarding bids before that bid submission deadline.
Mhm.
That way, if your subcontractors do submit something and there's an error on their side or they need to go back and update, they are able to do so
Mhm.
and they know that they can do so before that bid submission date. It's just an extra way to make sure that everyone's on the same page and avoid human error in that bid assignment process.
Great. So the bidder has done their part, submitted a bid.
Mhm.
So now what does the team see on their end within Construction Online?
Great question. So I'm going to close out of these and we're going to come back to Construction Online. I'm just going to refresh my page. Okay, great. So I'm back in Construction Online, and if we are looking at this bid packages section, I'm able to see the number of bid sheets, the bid submission deadline, which bid invites have been sent, will bid, and I can also see that bids received. So I know one person has said that they will bid, one person has gone ahead and submitted their bid. I can see that scope of work as well as those bidding instructions. I can reorganize this dynamic table, Ivy, as a real quick point, however I want. So if I right click, I can actually show hide columns. And if I want to reorganize any of these columns or where they're located in relation to each other, I can do that just as I could with any other dynamic table in Construction Online. However, there is an easier way to do this. So if I go into my bidders section, I can actually see everyone who has been invited as a bid recipient, what bid package and bid sheets they have been invited to, when that invitation was sent, as well as the bid status and bid amount. So if we look down here, we can see things like, okay, this person said they will bid, but they're still in progress. So that bid has been saved as a draft. It is actually not available for me to view yet, but I know that they are still working on it and I know that they will submit that bid before that bid deadline. I can see that this person has gone ahead and submitted something for plumbing along with the basic bid amount. And I can see a couple other details here, such as the notes, trade, quality, and company that they're associated with. In this situation, I can see that Orlando Interiors and Finishes, who was that subcontractor I invited,
Mhm.
has submitted a bid for $10,500. I'm able to go in and actually click on that little line item to see, okay, this was their amounts. If they have their own like format that they also want to submit or their own package of information, they can fill out any attachments and they can comment on it if they need to. So all of that is easily visible through this bidders section. We can also open up the bid package as a whole by going to or clicking on the bid package, and this is going to open up where we can see everything associated with that bid. So, Ivy, I know that one thing that you really liked was the bidding timeline. So let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, I think it gives a great visual into all those date fields that we talked about when you're entering your bid package information. So it kind of gives you that timeline laid out.
Yeah, and so this timeline is really great for if you just need a quick insight into, okay, have we already done our site visit? It also kind of gives you some additional information into what's upcoming, making it really easy to see all the necessary information about that bid. Additionally, you can go in and see and review at any point those details, the files that have been shared, the plans that have been shared. You can go back and get insight into those bid sheets and even go in and confirm things like duplicating them or entering bids on behalf of a bidder. So let's say if we have a bidder who maybe is not as tech savvy or they went ahead and sent us something that's outside of that general package that we sent them. Maybe they're not as comfortable using the computer, or maybe they had their own format and we just want to go ahead and submit it for them. When we do that, we can actually click this three dot menu and enter bid on behalf of a bidder. When we go through, we just choose the bidder that has been invited to bid on that bid sheet. And then we can actually go in and fill out their bid intention as well as update any of their responses if we want to. So we can actually do that on behalf of our subcontractors if they're not as comfortable. So, like, let's say, for example, a good one that I've seen is a government contractor who maybe has multiple people submitting on the same bid. They may go back and add those bids on behalf of those users if they're not as comfortable using the portal. You can do that directly through this bid packages section in the bid sheets, or even on the bidders page, you can right click, enter bid on behalf of, or resend those invites if for some reason they did not see those bid packages. We can also go right here to compare bids. This is going to allow us to easily see, okay, these users were highlighted to bid on interior finishes. These ones were invited to bid on exterior finishes. And we can kind of see that same concept with the doors and windows, who was invited. And at that point, we can actually go in and just see all of those bid mounts, click on them, and then compare those bid sheets. So this person offered 1,500 in wall covering. Maybe this person offered 2,500. So it makes that process of comparing those bids much, much easier. Now, another thing that we have done, Ivy, is we've gone in and actually allowed for announcements. So any announcements on a project are going to go in and actually be visible here. So if I go in and I add new announcements for that bidding, I can go in, say, hey, great, everyone, just be aware that the site visit has been updated to February 14th. You can go ahead and send that out as kind of a blast notification, as well as comments. So you would be able to go in and see any comments on those bid sheets as well. So lots of great options for going in and comparing and managing award decisions.
Yeah, and Carly, I think before we leave this page, we should also mention the status. So here you can see the bid package status, which right now is set to open. It'll kind of bring in the submission deadline and the bids that have been received. So once that deadline passed and it has at least one bidder that has bid on the project, it'll change. So I think that's a good way for teams to go in and kind of get an idea when they're looking at that bid package as a whole, where they're at in the bidding process.
Absolutely, because it really provides that necessary insight on, hey, this is what we've bidded out, this is what we are waiting on, so on and so forth. So really valuable tool there. Now let's talk about actually awarding bids, Ivy, because I know that that's what everyone's concerned about is how does the awarding process go down? So if we go in and we go back to our all bid packages, I'm going to go in and update mine really quick because I had mine set to allow bids to be awarded. So I'm just going to turn that off real quick. And when I come into my actual package, When I go down, I can right click and award that bid. So when I award that bid, it's going to go in. I can go straight in and award the bid and create a purchase order directly from it, or I can award a bid without creating a purchase order. This is really great because it's going to link directly to that on-cost purchasing feature.
Mhm.
For those who don't know, we did do a webinar on the on-cost purchasing feature when it was released, but it is a full purchase order tracking system within Construction Online that allows you to track your purchase orders, bills, expenses, and receipts. So this is going to integrate directly with that purchasing platform. We can award that bid and create a purchase order, and we can even choose to send an email notification to the awarded bidder. So, hey, just so you know, we have awarded this bid to you. That will go ahead and actually send them a notification that they have been awarded that bid. At that point, we can hit next step, and it's going to take us into creating that purchase order directly off the line items that were included on that bid sheet. So we can fill out that scope of work again, update our due date, start date, scheduled completion. We can go in and add any internal notes or terms and conditions. All of those items, you'll notice you can go in and then update. The purchase order total is going to automatically reflect whatever was included with that bid sheet, and it's going to automatically link to that estimate because we created that bid sheet from the estimate. So really smooth, seamless process in terms of actually connecting all of this back to that estimate. We can even upload any attachments, so if there's any contracts we need them to sign or anything, that will automatically be created. Once done, you hit create. It's going to go ahead and show on that bid package bidder's place, hey, this was awarded. This is the total bid amount. And then if we go to the purchasing feature, we will be able to see that we have a purchase order in for interior finishes, for Orlando interior finishes for 1050. So really great options for making that as seamless as possible. So that's pretty much the bid tracking feature. I mean, it's been something I know, Ivy, you and I have been super excited about.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
been a heavily requested feature. We've gone ahead and tried very hard to make this as smooth and seamless as possible. So everyone that I have shown this to actually loves it. They have been really excited. So this is going to be available to you. It's already live. Ivy, do you want to talk a little bit about what plans are going to include this?
Yeah, definitely. So bid tracking is included in residential business, commercial team and business, multifamily team and business, and enterprise current level subscriptions. It's also available as a per company add-on for all other plans. And Carly, I do want to mention that there's 2 days left for a special offer to get bid tracking as an add-on for $2,000 off.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are running that special until the end of January. If you are interested in adding bid tracking, or you're not sure if it comes with your plan, you are welcome to reach out to us. There is a support email, so you can reach us at support@uda1.com, or you can call in to our office 800-700-8321. Any of our product specialists would be more than happy to help you get started with bid tracking, or if you're not sure if you have it, then they would be happy to go ahead and get you set up and let you know what your plan includes and talk to you about upgrade options.
We hope that this webinar was helpful, and we really appreciate you all taking time out of your day to learn about Construction Online's new bid tracking feature. We do have exciting things coming for Construction Online as we're headed to Orlando in just a few weeks for the International Builder Show. We really hope to see many of you there, and you can register for free tickets on our website's events page. And also, we have a few exciting webinar topics to look forward to, which include the new sales dashboards and our upcoming payment application feature. As always, as Carly mentioned, please do not hesitate to reach out. And we are so glad you guys joined us today.
Yeah, and it looks like we just had one question. It says in bid sheets are item and description separate fields. So let's go take a look at those bid sheets really quick. So if we are looking at the bid sheet, when we are looking at item description, that is going to pull directly from the estimate. So that's going to depend on what you have in your actual estimate or schedule of values. So that's how that's going to work, is if you are creating that bid sheet from your estimate, it's going to pull that item name and description. All right. Well, I think that's all the questions we have today. But if anyone has any other additional questions, like I said, you're welcome to reach out to us. or shoot us an email. So I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and thank you so much for joining our webinar.